तू जिंदा है, तू जिंदगी की जीत पर यकीन कर, अगर कहीं है स्वर्ग तो उतार ला जमीन पर, तू जिंदा है। ये गम के और 4 दिन, सितम के और 4 दिन, ये दिन भी जाएंगे, गुजर गुजर गए 1000 दिन। ये गम के और 4 दिन, सितम के और 4 दिन, ये दिन भी जाएंगे, गुजर गुजर गए 1000 दिन। कभी तो होगी इस चमन पे भी बहार की नजर, अगर कहीं है स्वर्ग तो उतार ला जमीन पर, तू जिंदा है। सुबह हो शाम के रंगे हुए बदन को चूम कर, तू सुन जमीन का।
Thank you very much for getting us all here together. I feel enormously privileged to be part of this group of very eminent people, both on stage and off stage. And it's one thing is clear, that 71 years after Gandhi was murdered, very clearly murdered on the streets, and here we have a witness, Ms. Antara Dev, to it. It seems very clear that Gandhi is not dead. Everybody agrees to it. Ms. Sehgal had promised herself that she would not let Gandhi die, and Admiral Ramdas says that he is not a martyr because he cannot die. He lives on within us. Everyone, actually, Javed Bhai has also spoken about how all of us have a Gandhi in us, and how God says shots will never end, but Gandhi will also never die. But as he pointed out, along with Gandhi, we also have a bit of Nathuram Godse in each of us. And that is where the trouble lies, I guess. I was reminded of, listening to all of the eminent speakers before me, I was reminded of an essay that Dr. Ashish Nandi had written for our magazine, the little magazine, about 20 years ago. It was 50 years after Gandhi's death, and the essay was called Gandhi After Gandhi. And he talked in that essay about 4 kinds of Gandhis that we still have among us. The first type of Gandhi is the Gandhi of the state and of nationalism. According to Dr. Nandi, that Gandhi is, we see him everywhere, and he's the statutory Gandhi, so to speak, but he is a little unwell because the state, in any case, is very embarrassed about him, and because the state doesn't really want to do what he advised us to do. At the same time, the state can't really get rid of him. So the state has him there, but tries not to deal too deeply with his thoughts. So that is one Gandhi. And that Gandhi, of course, has also been unwell because of the rise of Hindutva forces. That's also something that Dr. Nandi had pointed out. Then there's the second kind of Gandhi who lives on, and he is the Gandhi of the Gandhians. And that Gandhi is somebody who drinks nimbu pani, who is very benign, he's lovable, he's a lovely person. But of course, he does not get into politics, because to get into politics, the Gandhi of the Gandhians would have to deal with today's problems, which is very difficult to deal with. Then there's the third kind of Gandhi, which is the Gandhi of the eccentrics. And that's the Gandhi who wears jeans and who talks about why Coca-Cola is bad and he'd rather have scotch. But if you have to have Coca-Cola, then just get Coke and don't waste your money and machinery in trying to make Campa Cola, because that totally devastates us. So that's the third kind of Gandhi that Dr. Nandi talked about. And the fourth was the Gandhi who fought against injustice and who was basically the Gandhi of the ideas. And that fourth Gandhi is the one whom we see across the world, the Gandhi that we keep meeting. You know, when Lake Walasa is called a Gandhi, of the Polish, you don't think of him as a Gandhian figure because, he's a hard-drinking, tough-talking trade union leader, but his ideas of opposing injustice through militant nonviolence is basically what makes him a Gandhi. So over the years, over the decades, we have seen people hailed as a Gandhi from Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan to to Martin Luther King, to Aung San Suu Kyi. Wherever you look, wherever there is Nelson Mandela, wherever there has been a civilized, more or less nonviolent fight against injustice, we hear of Gandhi. And that is, I think, basically what we need to remember today, because I think just talking about nonviolence and harmony is not enough. I think we need to understand that we are not alone, that fighting against injustice, while keeping your dignity and your humanity and respecting the humanity of others, is actually happening around the world as well. Today we are, unfortunately, in a particularly difficult situation. But while we talk about nonviolence and Gandhi and harmony, we need to remember 2 or 3 things that Gandhi, perhaps many other things, I'm just saying whatever comes to my mind, that Gandhi would want us to remember. And first, of course, is respecting people, including yourself, but respecting people, which is why he was so inclusive, which is why there was this thing about, equal opportunity, and all of that came later. But the fact that untouchables were equal to us, the fact that Hindus were equal to Muslims, the fact that we needed to respect each other, that is something that we have to keep reminding ourselves, because we talk about it, then we go home and we do not respect maybe our maid or our driver, or we go on a chutti and we do not respect the tribal rules. Where there are so many things that we ought to respect and we don't, which we need to remember. I think the way that we talk about harmony also needs to change a bit, because when we talk about harmony, we talk more about tolerance. We say we have to be tolerant. There is rising intolerance, we say. But why do we need to talk about tolerance or intolerance? Because if we are all equal, we don't need to tolerate each other. It is an equal right that we have. Tolerance implies that one is superior, the other is inferior, and the more powerful is putting up with or suffering the less powerful. So I am wonderful and great, and I tolerate, the lower caste or the Christians or the tribals. That is not the idea that we should actually be pursuing. I think we need to start at a higher level. If we start so low, where merely tolerating is enough, then it's very easy to slip and fall into the abyss of intolerance, which we are doing actually. So we need to realize that we need real equality. Our Constitution says that. Our Constitution talks also of a spirit of brotherhood. Now this is important because in India, we are very family-oriented. Bhai, we are all, Hindu, Muslim, bhai, bhai. Later on, we had Hindi, Chini, bhai, bhai also, but we are very family-oriented. The streets are full of unknown uncles and aunties and brothers and sisters. Everybody is related. We can't just go up and say madam or sir. We have to say uncle ji or auntie ji or something like that. So if we are all a big family, then how happy is a family that just tolerates each other? can we tolerate the members of your own family? You know, I mean, I'm just trying to put it logically. If you look at it that way, does it make sense? Or should we actually target a proper, slightly more respectable India, which is an India which is genuinely equal, where a Hindu is not tolerating a Muslim and a Muslim is not tolerating a Sikh. They are actually all equal and giving each other space. Thank you. So I think basically today when we talk about harmony and nonviolence, we need to just respect the Constitution. That is what our forefathers after this day, after January 30th, 1948, they actually put together what they thought were the problems of the time and sought solutions and put together this great book, which is the Constitution. And though it does not matter what book we read on which day for religious purposes, it does matter whether or not we read the Indian Constitution. And I think we need to go back to that. We need to read the Indian Constitution so that the politicians cannot mislead us any further, because they love misleading. It doesn't matter what color they come in. They just love misleading you because that's their job. In fact, Gandhi would have probably been a better philosopher if he wasn't a politician. He had to cut corners a lot there, because that's what politicians do. They try to, get you to think in their way. Now, if we know the Constitution, then we know what is right, what is wrong. And then we can also see what is happening. For example, what's happening in the courts today. Some of it is just atrocious. I do not wish to go into details because I do not wish all of us to get into trouble. But there is a lot happening in the courts today, especially with the Ram Mandir and the Babri Masjid case, and people getting out of jail, the sedition charges, all kinds of things happening, which should not happen. And I think if we were all equally aware of the Constitution, then some of these things at least could be stopped, maybe not nipped at the bud, but at least it could be contained a lot more. So that's one thing. If we know the Constitution, if we stick to the Constitution, if we follow the rule of law, if we make others follow the rule of law, if we are persuasive in a non-violent but very persuasive kind of way, then I think we can all be sort of happy, maybe not deliriously happy, but sort of happy together, and we wouldn't need to tolerate each other, and we wouldn't need to leave an incredibly unhappy country or world for our children. So that's it. Let's just think about it. Thank you.
तू जिंदा है, तू जिंदगी की जीत पर यकीन कर, अगर कहीं है स्वर्ग तो उतार ला जमीन पर, तू जिंदा है। सुबह और शाम के रंगे हुए बदन को चूम कर, तू सुन जमीन गा रही है कब से झूम झूम कर, सुबह और शाम